Hey, Abbie, thanks for joining me for a call. Today we're going to talk about the difficulties about butterfly, or like one topic, or maybe we get to other topics. You and I, we know each other from social media, not in person. We've talked a lot, but never seen each other. But I know you have a deep understanding of swimming, and you've done it yourself, and you're coaching. So yeah, let's jump right in. As I said, butterfly is the main thing we talk about. We want to see what are the difficulties and what are the most difficult things about butterfly, which you see from youngsters to grown-ups. You're mainly specialized in the youngsters, right? In younger swimmers.
Yeah, I do a lot of work right now with age group swimmers. So in the US, that's anywhere from like 7 to 8, maybe a 6-year-old up to 18 years old. But I really prefer the age of like 10 to 12. I enjoy teaching them. And for those, it's really timing and trying to get the hands up and over the water. Because at some point, you and I probably struggled with that, even though we don't now. That's a common issue that we see with young swimmers with butterfly.
How do you? I mean, yes. I mean, for me, it's the one thing which usually all the people do wrong, and I said it in another call already as well. Usually, it's the mismatch of the kicks. You know, when they have in front 1, 2 kicks, and then they do the swing 2 kicks instead of having 1, 2, 1, 2. But how do you get it out? I mean, I don't know. For me, it's very hard to. I try to some sort of think about it. You're, I think, more experienced in coaching than I. What did you suggest someone to how to change it?
Yeah, well, so for someone who has the 2 kick, kind of like the delayed fly, is what I would call the situation you described. That's better than some of the people that don't have a second kick, because like butterfly is extremely kick driven. So if your kicks don't exist or they exist at the wrong time, it's going to make that stroke infinitely harder. So my favorite drill progression to work with issues in butterfly timing is a 4-kick, 1 pull, and then a 3-kick, 1 pull, and then a 2-kick, 1 pull, but kind of like faking the swimmer into thinking that the 2-kick, 1 pull is not regular butterfly, and then it will fix their timing to what regular fly should look like. It's very interesting that's worked with like so many different ages when they have the delayed fly or they don't have a second kick, because what they do is they do the number of kicks they're supposed to do, and then they pull. So they basically do the first kick and then they pull through and set back up for the other pause for the next set of kicks. So it fakes them into doing kick 1 correctly, and then they pull through, and as they pull through, they start to realize, oh, I need to pull and kick as well, and then boom, there hits the second kick.
Yeah, so it's a staggered approach, and at some point they feel more comfortable with the kick. Right? I like that one. For me, it was always I. Funny enough, I don't have like an approach now for getting the kicks aligned, because I usually, for me, it's more the most people I've seen that it from when it went from it didn't work and it went to work, it was that it like they tried it never worked, never worked, and at some point it may click. But most of them had already the kick lined up or properly done when it was one arm stroke, or you know, when they needed to swim with one arm, then it worked, and as soon as they added the second arm, it fell apart. And usually just give it some time, and at some point it may click, and then it worked. I think, yeah, it's the timing is the problem, I guess. I mean, it's and patience, I guess, it's also one thing, I think.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, you have to be really strong to swim butterfly well. So, you know, I will say now that I'm not actively training towards anything, which we differ in that way. You are training for things. So if someone's like, hey, do you want to do this set butterfly, or do you want to do 1250s butterfly? Like, I don't really want to. So like you have to have that base foundation to be able to swim fly well. And if you don't really have a solid base of strength and endurance and feel for the water, fly itself so much harder too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's true. But you know, it's the most. A lot of people want to do it because they see it. I mean, I think it's the most majestic or like the most incredible stroke out there. I don't know, maybe other people have another opinion, but for me it's, but yeah, I usually put out the statement: butterfly is the hardest stroke to swim, to learn, and breaststroke is the hardest stroke to swim.
Actually, I like that. Yeah, I've never really thought about it that way. I think I've always said breaststroke is the most technical because I do think there are just so many different ways you can swim breaststroke fast. But yeah, fly's hard. That's perfect. That should be the title.
Yeah, good. Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, what can you do? Do you? I mean, I never looked at it from a dryland perspective. I know you have also knowledge about that. Like you have a good knowledge about that. Do you have a drill for, or like something which you have in your mind about what they could do on dryland to actually get to that timing or fix the timing issue on land? Or is it, I mean, with freestyle, I know how to explain it on land when it's about walking, you know, when you walk and you should, when left foot goes forward, the right arm should swing forward and vice versa. It's like walking alongside the street. But in butterfly, do you have anything which could explain it as well, or?
The only two things that jump to my mind that maybe could work would be doing anything that's like, you know, the up and down motion. So like a Superman or back extensions, being able to work that flow. And then you really have to count the cadence in your head as well. So anything that, like, I always say like kick, recover when I teach butterfly. So if there was a way to do that beat or flow on land, then but I think you would do like some hip hinges and different types of exercises in dryland, and then if you can add the frequency of how the kick should connect to the arms, I mean, that would be the best thing ever.
Okay. Yeah, I like that one. No, that's good. I mean, you can't really say never try to swim butterfly, because that would never work, because everyone would want to do it. But what would be the main tip which you would give someone in mine? I know I would say patience. Like, be patient with yourself and just line it up. At some point it will make click. But what would be your tip which you would like give out to someone who learns it or tries to learn it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree exactly. You should be patient. You should be, you know, kind to yourself, and give yourself the time to build. Because if you know how to swim freestyle, like you said earlier, it's so much more of a flowing stroke, like walking and running, that our bodies are much more built and apt to understand that faster than breaststroke and fly. So if you're going to dabble in the quote unquote harder strokes, you got to be able to give yourself the time to adjust to it. But by no means does it mean just because it's hard, it's not possible. It's totally possible. It just take a little bit more time.
Okay. Well, good. I mean, I think for that little topic, I think it's a good start. I think we need to go more into detail when it's about different things, or about more detailed things about the style itself or as such. I think we will have time again, but for that, I guess it's a good intro, and thanks very much for this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.